Hello. I wanted to go over a few things for this channel to discuss why I chose the Philippines. I plan on making several videos covering this topic, but as an American, why did I choose to retire to the Philippines? And there's several reasons, and many I won't get into, but I'm going to cover some of the good and the bad of the Philippines, and then you can kind of weigh that out for yourself. So I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, I was in a fortunate situation, and I was looking at an early retirement. I was 48, and I had an opportunity that I just could not say no to. And I had been to the Philippines once before, and just decided that I almost felt like it was I really bonded. What you're hearing here is a large fiesta party that's going on, and there's a lot of people here getting into the hot spring that is here. I actually show you here, and I stand corrected. It's not a hot spring; it's a cold spring. Um, but and I believe in not editing a whole lot, so I'm going to try to keep this just as it is in real time. Uh, I was just in a situation where I was able to retire, and so I took that opportunity. Um, and let me go over a few things that I've noticed in my couple of times to the Philippines and how they differ from America. And then you can choose if maybe that is what you would like to do or to plan to do into the future. Um, just a little bit about my location. I'm in the province area of Cebu. The main city, the Cebu city, is probably about, I don't know, two hours by car, maybe 3 hours by bus. It all just depends on traffic. We'll talk about that here in a minute too. But one thing that I want to mention, the very first thing, one of the great things about the Philippines is family values. They say when you marry a Filipina that you marry the family, and there's many aspects of that are true. Now the degree of that will vary family to family, but family values, sticking with family through thick and thin, uh, is extremely important here. Every family, of course, has their issues. That Philippines is not immune to that. But when you marry a Filipina, when you come to the Philippines and you start dating a Filipina and you get serious, be prepared to know that it's going to be expected that you are also marrying into the family and marrying the family, not literally, but you will be, it is just going to be expected. You will be treated as family, but you also are expected to treat them as family, as blood family, not just marriage family. And it's really a refreshing thing. We've lost a lot of that in America. Of course, we've all seen it probably in our own lives if we've lived any amount of time into adulthood. So family values are very, very important here. So be prepared for that. Have a talk with your Filipina, or be prepared when you come here for something along that line of being more dedicated to the family than normal. Now, does that mean financial assistance? Maybe. Does that mean staying close to the family, like living wise? Maybe. Just be sure you have that talk. But I actually enjoy the family value importance that is here, and it's very refreshing. I really, really like it. So that's one thing that is a pro for sure. Another pro is the food. Man, I tell you what, the food here is outstanding. Even the fast food is great. There's a place called Jollibee, which they have a few in the United States, but it's basically an equivalent to McDonald's, except they have other things too. They've got burgers and fries, but they also have hot dogs. They've also got palabok, which is a noodle and egg type of it doesn't sound that great, but it's probably my favorite dish. They also have fried chicken, spaghetti. It's really great. But even the other, like the traditional food, the Filipino food, the sisig is really good. The lumpia is great. The baboy, or the baboy is pig in Bisaya, which is one of the main dialects. It's probably the second most spoken dialect here in the Philippines, the first being Tagalog. The baboy is great. The manuk, which is chicken. The chicken is great. They love to lechon things. Lechon means rotisserie. So that's another great thing here. So if you're looking to expand your palate, the Philippines is a great place to come. There's a lot of nuances in that they eat really disgusting things and they don't. Everything is wonderful. It's really, really great. I don't say everything is wonderful, but most everything is really, really good. And they love their sweets here, and they make great dishes. One of the things I love the most is the fresh vegetables. Living out here in the province area, when I say the province, I mean away from the city. Living out here in the province area, much of what I eat is fresh vegetables and fresh fruits that are prime picked when they're ripe. Um, then they're not sprayed with a bunch of pesticides. They're not. They're just grown and cut. I had my nephew get a coconut down from the tree and cut that thing wide open, right in, well, not wide open, but he cut the top right there off in front of me with a machete. And some of the most amazing coconut juice and the meat of the coconut, that stuff you buy in the store, it doesn't even compare. So another thing is the food. If you want to venture out with food and you're a foodie, Philippines is a great place to go. You can hear everybody having a good time. This is a family get together and some friends. It's just, it's really a sense of community, even if you don't know people. I'll talk about that here in a little bit also. But the food can also be a negative for you. If you're like some people that I know, all you want to eat is just pizza, chicken nuggets, and hot dogs, and cheeseburgers. They've got that here too. They've got that here too. But if you're wanting to expand, um, Philippines might be. If you're not wanting to expand, Philippines will be a challenge for you. But it's a great way to open up your horizons. One of the other main things that I noticed here versus America is life moves slower. And I mean that in a good way. They have this thing called Filipino time. You can read about it on the internet. It's not a real thing, but it's just an understanding that if someone says I'll be there at 4 in the Philippines, um, they might get ready at about 4. And it's very acceptable. It's fashionably late. It's called Filipino time. But it's not just about being late. It's about being casual. It's about not being so serious all the time. And yes, being retired, maybe you can afford to do that. But even the people that are working all day, every day, things just move slower. They get the job done, just might kind of do it a little bit slower, a little bit more casual, and they'll enjoy it a little more. There's not that pressure. But this can also be a negative for you in America because we're so used to the hustle and bustle of go, go, go constantly. You don't get an award for being the first one done. And I know that there's financial ramifications, especially if you're running a business and stuff, but um, it's just slower here, and it's very enjoyable. As opposed to in America, everything is just such a rush, just such a rush. Sorry for being distracted. Everybody's just having a good time, and they're eating, partying. Karaoke's another big thing that's here. They love their karaoke. I kid you not. I've been walking down the road, just going on a stroll, and there's been karaoke blasting out of a house at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's really nice. Um, the weather here. Now, as I've gotten older, and I just turned 49, the heat doesn't bother me as much, which usually it's the other way around. And no, I'm not taking a bunch of medicine because medicine will make you cold blooded a lot of times. You take a bunch of medicine. Um, but it can get hot here, and it can get humid. It can get incredibly humid, but no more than in America. I don't feel. It just feels hotter, especially if you live near the ocean. I can see the ocean right here. I'm very fortunate. The house I'm building and where I'm at now, the ocean is 200, maybe 250 meters away from me, which is one reason why the cold spring is here. It kind of branches off from it. Um, but the weather can get hot. I think yesterday that the high temp was 88. Today it's supposed to be 89. The date is April 3rd. It's going to get a little bit warmer before it gets cooler. I think in the last 30 or 40 years, the lowest temperature it's been has been 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It can get hot and humid. The other thing is the rain. You can end up having 3 or 4 rain or even more rain showers a day that'll last just a few minutes. The most aggravating part about that is if you don't have a dryer in your house and you hang your clothes up outside, you will have to go in and you will have to monitor that. You have to go in and outside the house several times a day, possibly, to get your clothes dry. But if it does not rain at all, you can dry your clothes in about 30 seconds. No, not really, but you can dry your clothes rather quickly. Yeah. It's just the weather to get a little bit accommodated to, unless you've lived even if you've lived in Las Vegas or like Arizona, where the heat is a dry heat, where it's not very humid, you don't feel like you're breathing in peanut butter. Here, when you get here, there's have been some days where it's very, very hot, but you can have an air conditioner. In my house, I have all the accommodations of most of the accommodation of a house in America. I have an air conditioner. You can sit in the shade. It's not as awful as probably I'm making it out to be. But if you hate hot weather, to have a friend that cannot stand it, it's not for you. But just keep that in mind. But if you love it, then it's for you. You're going to have a good time. One other thing I wanted to mention was the beaches. So the beaches here, at least in the Cebu area, if you don't go to a resort, the beaches are not going to have the thin, white, powdery sand like you may be used to at some other beaches. Or even Myrtle Beach is close to where I'm from in the U.S. It's the sand is different. There's more rocks, big rocks, than there is sand. But there is sand. It's just not like the traditional, probably, beach that you're used to seeing in California or Florida, or even in the Bahamas. It's not quite like that. But there are some places that are nice. So just something to keep in mind. But the beaches are still absolutely beautiful. And there are towns that are just right on the beach. And the great part is that they're affordable. I want to cover a few other things in my next video. I'll do a part 2 where I'll cover the economy and how, especially for the average American, whether you've got a 401k or not right now, depending upon your age or investments or a business, you can have some sort of small, in American economy, called small passive income. You can retire here, and I'll cover that probably in the next video. I'll go into a little bit more depth about how I got here, what it took to get here, and what it's going to take to sustain that, even retiring at the age of 43. I am an exception, but I will give you a little bit more detail on what it costs to get set up here and then to continue that on. I hope you subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please, down in the comment section, leave me a comment. You can check out my, I have a Facebook page. It's a Facebook page that is more for the locals here. It has some reviews. It has some information and some photos. It's called Randy's World also. You'll see a picture of me with my arm around the Jollibee character. Check that out. Drop me a comment in the comment section. But subscribing is the best way to do it, because you'll get updates anytime that I make a video, and I plan to make plenty. Or you can even email me at myphsimplelife@gmail.com. That should be in the description also for my channel, myph, which is Philippines, myphsimplelife@gmail.com. I hope to get some questions and some feedback. Please subscribe. I'm going to give you one more quick look of this cold spring and everyone out having a good time. Here we go. There's the ocean that I told you about. All right, everyone. Remember, like, subscribe, and share this too. I want to talk to you about how you can also have this enjoyable, wonderful life. So long for now.